right, senior right fielder Darius, coach Randy Mazey, and junior left-handed starter Nick Snyder. We'll get started with an opening statement from Coach.
Yeah, great win for the Mountaineers. Told the guys in the post-game huddle that when you start the season, tell the team all the time that you want to be playing your best baseball at the end of the year. And everything you go through during the season, the wins, the losses, the traveling, the getting walked off, the walking off, learning about your team, shuffling lineups, that's all really, really valuable experience. And if you learn from it, that's how you play your best baseball at the end of the year. And I think we are right now. We wouldn't be anywhere near where we are this year without these two guys beside me. And just happy to have them in the program, doing as well as they're doing. But really like where the Mountaineers are right now.
What are some of the little things in particular you're seeing that you like about the team right now?
Well, you know, starting pitching between Nick and Alec, I think they have 15 wins between the two of them now. You can't have a great season without at least one of your pitchers winning 8 to 10 games, and we have two of them doing it. And that's how you have a special season. And the thing about our team offensively that I think Tyler Dones, with his last hit, cracked the 300 batting average mark, which is the first guy we've had at 300 probably in a month. And we got a bunch of guys between 250 and 300, which you wouldn't think is great, but man, we sure find ways to score runs late in games. And that's leadership and trust in your teammates. That's veteran experience, not getting caught up in batting average and just trying to win games. And that's really what we're doing. I really like the pieces of the puzzle right now. It seemed like it took us forever to figure out who was going to play where and where they're going to play in the lineup. But I really think as we sit here today, our best lineup is on the field, which is super encouraging.
Coach, Nick has pitched great for you guys at midweeks, but I think he's only tossed against 2 Big 12 teams. How important of a role is he going to play for you guys in Oklahoma City next week?
Yeah, you know, when he started throwing so well in the middle of the year, I'm getting ready to tell you stuff that he doesn't even know we think about. But we thought about flipping him to a weekend starter. But as soon as you do that, you mess with about 2 or 3 different guys' routines and the number of days of rest. When you get this close to the end with the conference tournament starting on Wednesday, he's a creature of habit, and he's a routine-oriented. Keeping him in his routine is going to keep him pitching as well as he has. If we flip him to the weekend, now all of a sudden you got to flip somebody else to the midweek, and then it's just pretty much discombobulated at that point. So he's in a great rhythm right now. He's going to pitch in the conference tournament next Wednesday. Really, no Big 12 team has seen him yet for any extended period of time. And he's not just winning the midweek games for us. He helps us win on the weekends when he doesn't pitch by winning the midweek games. Because we go into every weekend with a ton of confidence because he's won his midweek games. And I think now, I've said this before, and my numbers probably aren't right, but in our midweek games in the last 3 years, I think our record against Pitt, Penn State, Maryland, Virginia Tech, and Marshall is something crazy, like 25-2 at this point. So to have a guy like Nick pitching against those teams, that's really good for the future of West Virginia baseball to be so dominant in our region here the last couple of years.
Nick, Coach talked about you being a creature of habit. How do you stay in a starting mindset and routine while you're also kind of trying to, I'm sure, enjoy the experience of pitching in Major League Baseball?
I think it's important to take things a day at a time. Like Coach Mazey mentioned, I'm routine driven, so I kind of plan my days out ahead of time, and just being able to see a few days in advance, knowing what I have to do on any given day has been really vital to my success so far.
Did you get a chance to enjoy it?
Absolutely, yeah. This was a great experience. Really a dream come true pitching in a beautiful stadium like this.
Nick, what was working for you tonight?
Fastball slider. The early innings, I was kind of missing up a little bit. I think I was rushing towards the plate a little bit, but fourth inning on, I found my rhythm, and I was able to locate the ball down in the zone. My slider got sharper as the game went on, so that was really, really important in my success tonight.
Darius hit 2 doubles tonight. Gives you, according to what I saw, 73 for your career. You tied Jet Jorko for the school record. What kind of feeling is that to be able to be up there with a major league guy?
That's pretty special. I mean, as you know, Jed's one of the best, or if not the best player in the history of this program. It's unbelievably mentioned in the same breath as him. I think it just speaks to having a sustained success throughout the 4 years I've been here. It's really cool to have my name on that record.
Coach, with GW coming up here at the end of the week, I guess, how important are these last 3 games, to build some momentum going into the conference tournament?
Yeah, I hate to really overstate the obvious on this one, but this weekend has just become the biggest weekend of the season for us. We're in a position where we think we have a chance to potentially host a regional, and if we get on the bus tonight and feel like the season's over and we've accomplished what we set out to do, any team on your schedule can sneak up and beat you. They're really offensive, and we got to do a good job. We can't start throwing parties and feeling good about ourselves just yet. We got a lot of work left to do this season.
Your confidence level must be pretty high going into the tournament. You feel you can compete with almost anybody in the Big 12 at this point?
Yeah, I think we have. I think since we joined the Big 12 7 years ago, a lot of people don't know this, but in the last 7 years, our record against Texas is 13-8. And for West Virginia baseball to be 13-8 against Texas is saying a lot about how far this program's come. When we joined the Big 12 7 years ago, as a university, the common theme was football's going to be fine and basketball's going to be fine. Poor baseball. What's going to happen to the Mountaineers in the Big 12? But I think we showed in the last 7 years, we finished third in the Big 12 our first year in the league. And since then, we've had a lot of success. And I think it's a tribute to the culture we've established, the hard work that goes into it by so many different people, and the type of players that we bring in. We established the culture of this program from day one about how it was going to go. And then once you establish the culture, then you start bringing in players the caliber of these guys. Then that's how you win championships. And that's kind of what we're thinking at this point.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Doan's moving back above 300. What allows a player to make the progress that he has made in the last few weeks?
Throughout the course of the season, I tell these guys before we play the first game, I'm pretty good at predicting the future. I can tell you right now some things I know for sure are going to happen. You're going to give up home runs if you're a pitcher. Umpires are going to make bad calls. If you're a hitter, you're going to strike out. If you're a defender, you're probably going to make an error. I can say that stuff with certainty. And the good players, when that happens, can handle it if you're prepared for it. If you're not prepared for it, all of a sudden an 0 for 15 slump can turn into 0 for 30 in a hurry. But over the course of 60 games, Darius will tell you, some days the baseball looks like a beach ball coming in there, and other days it looks like a tic-tac. You go through ups and downs, and good players can handle the downs and the ups, and that's what Doan hasn't been swinging the bat all that great lately, but he went down to Kansas State, got a swing off, led off the game with a home run Friday and Saturday, and now it looks like he's got his swing back. He's driving some balls like he's capable of, and I think the thing that propelled us these last 4 or 5 games was Darius's walk-off home run against TCU. Sometimes it just takes one swing of the bat, not just to get you going, but get the whole team going. And I really think that changed our offense when we came back and won that game. So I hate to put too much emphasis on one hit, but that may go down as one of the biggest hits in the history of Mon County Ballpark at this point.
Coach, you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but in the 7 years you've been here, the program has gone from a kind of an also-ran for the university playing in the Coliseum parking lot to what it is now. I mean, what does that mean to you, you know, as a head coach, that you've seen that through to the point where fans are traveling to Pittsburgh and Blacksburg, Virginia to watch your team play?
Yeah, you know, I tell these guys all the time that they have no idea how many people they're playing for. You know, there's only 2 Division I schools in our state, and there's Mountaineer fans everywhere. When they put this jersey on, don't take it lightly, man. You're representing your teammates, your coaches, the administration, the students at WVU, but all the fans across the state of West Virginia that are now starting to tune into the radio and watching the web stream and getting excited about Mountaineer baseball, and that's important. It was evident, you know, that first year when we played a lot of games in Charleston and Beckley and Princeton. The crowds in those towns were just as good as the ones in Morgantown. So there's Mountaineer fans everywhere, and if they would buy into that, which I think they have, it's a lot easier to motivate yourself as a player if you're playing for something bigger than yourself. And I think that's what these guys are doing. They know, especially in a game like this, the backyard brawl. I mean, you're talking about representing millions of West Virginia people out there in one game. And I think they're starting to get the concept and grasp the concept. But every time you have a new class come in, you got to explain it to them all over again. But these guys are veterans and have been around a while, and the new guys wouldn't understand half of what they know if it wasn't for guys like Darius teaching them the ropes when they get here.
To be clear, Nick's going to pitch in relief.
No, Nick's going to start the first game. We play on Wednesday.
We start on Wednesday.
He'll get the first game in the conference tournament regardless of who we play.
Randy, 4 years ago I remember talking to you. You were pushing to push the start of the season up to make baseball more of a summer sport. Is there any traction in that proposal since then?
There is absolutely, positively zero traction. But it's a real shame. You know, we've gotten, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there was a vote to add another paid assistant coach to college baseball within the last couple of weeks. College baseball right now is the single most underfunded sport in all the NCAA. With the amount of scholarships we get versus the number of players on the team, we have the lowest coach-to-player ratio of any sport in the NCAA. Since I've been involved in college baseball, scholarships have been cut from 13 to 11.7. Games have been cut. And now we've had rosters have been limited. And now nationally we tried to do something for the benefit of college baseball, and it got defeated. And rightfully so. Very few teams make money playing college baseball. West Virginia operates at a tremendous deficit, like most programs. And until we start making revenue as a sport, then I don't blame anybody for not wanting to add more expenses. You'd be crazy to want to add more expenses to a program that's already losing a ton of money. We got to find a way to generate revenue in our sport. And I'm convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt, and Darius and I talk about this all the time, that the way to do it is to play in the summertime. We play a lot of games. I remember one year we played the backyard brawl at Pitt. I think it was March 25th. I was coaching third base when the first pitch was thrown. There were 18 people in the stands. That doesn't even constitute a brawl. There's not enough people to make up a brawl. But if we played Pitt on July 4th weekend, we'd have to build bigger stadiums, you know, and I think across the board, you know, the Big Ten, Michigan versus Ohio State baseball weekend on July 4th, when you're talking about tens of thousands of people, but in our current state of college baseball, we're not making revenue, so we're never going to make progress, I don't think, in this sport until we do something drastic. This has been a real slap in the face, not getting the third assistant passed, and everybody's upset about it. But we can't look at it objectively. If somebody looked at it objectively and financially to see how much money we're losing, why would you continue to invest money when there's no chance of getting a return on your investment. You know, we have to play in the summertime. You know, and you live in Morgantown, West Virginia in the summertime. You know, the Black Bears outdraw us in our own park just because they play in the summertime. It's not a school night. Kids come. It's a great atmosphere, but the majority of our games in February, March, and early April were in the 30s and 40s. And we just, why would you come to a baseball game when it's 38 degrees and spitting rain at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday? I wouldn't go if I didn't have to, you know. So thanks for opening that can of worms for me.
Any other questions? All right.
Good.